Hi, and welcome to part 2 of our Soviet scavenger hunt around Bishkek. One of the differences I noticed between Soviet style apartments I saw on my Baltics trip versus the ones in Bishkek was that the Baltics ones were more plain, whereas the ones in Bishkek seemed to have some flair. Got that water fountain, and you have all these goldfish here, and then you have that. First stop on my second day of exploring was the Alatu Cinema. It's this concave theater and it's the oldest cinema in Bishkek. And although I love the panels on it, they are not original to the building. They were changed to celebrate 100 years of friendship with Russia and to showcase Soviet achievements like peace, scientific achievements, and education. Next up was this soda shop in a park that I hadn't even pinned on my map. I just happened to pass it and I thought it was interesting. Kind of reminded me of that Jesus in a box in Texas. One of the nice things about going from place to place is that there were so many parks and green spaces for me to walk through, which was very pleasant and peaceful. It distracts you from all the smog and traffic that surrounds the city. And speaking of parks, there was this very cute one next to my next stop, which was the National Library. Wow, I think this is like their library. And you can see like these buildings all have arches and stuff. They're not like the typical, like the kind you see in Eastern Europe. Wow, I like this park. How fun. They have like Easter eggs and like fake deer and stuff. How cute this park is. You have that. You have like this little enchanted egg thing and like fruits down there. If you want to throw away recycles, here you go. This was built in 1983, and of course, it was originally called the Lenin Library. I actually really liked all the harsh lines on this one. It houses over 6 million items, and it only costs 10 som, which is about 10 cents, if you want to go look inside. They still maintain all the pretty flowers. Moving on, I made it to one of my favorite buildings on my Soviet scavenger hunt, and that was the Wedding Palace, which looked like some kind of futuristic cathedral. A lot of the former Soviet countries have wedding palaces because it was a way to get married in a non-religious setting. This one was built in '87, and I saw people going in and out of there to get married, so it's definitely still used. There's also a mosaic fountain out front, which I wish was working. If you look up pictures of the inside, it kind of looks like a mausoleum mixed with the entrance to a cult with splashes of cathedral here and there. Very unique. I had 2 great buildings in a row because after this wedding palace, I headed to another building that can be found amongst former Soviet countries, and that is the State Circus. This one has gotten a facelift since it was completed in 1976. The first sight I came across before I could take in the full splendor of this UFO-like building were these clown and acrobat bas-reliefs on the side of the building. Even though this building is cool, there are some sad incidents that have happened here. Like in 2009 when the Russian State Circus was performing Bears on Ice. During rehearsals, a 5-year-old brown bear killed the circus administrator during rehearsal and injured another man. The bear was shot and killed. And then in 2016, yet another Russian animal traveling show arrived at the circus. It was called Dolphinarium and featured dolphins and beluga whales. 1,500 people petitioned to have this show banned and said that such an unethical and cruel show should not be allowed in Kyrgyzstan. Even up to now, the circus still has animals. And look across the way, you have like tons of modern construct, and right there going on, and then you've got that old thing in there. The final stop on my tour was Victory Square. I had barely seen any tourists while walking around, but here I saw several groups of tourists. It was erected in 1985 to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the Soviet victory in the Great Patriotic War. This is what the USSR calls the part of World War II that they were involved in. The structure is supposed to resemble a yurt with the top opening like a funeral wreath. Under is a woman waiting for her husband or sons to return from war. There's also an eternal flame to remember the lives lost. Over 300,000 Kyrgyz soldiers fought against Germany in World War II, and about 1/3 of them died. On the way back to my apartment, I passed this quirky snail souvenir shop in a park. Even though it's small, it took 2 years to build from 1969 to 1971. It later became a cafe. Okay, they have these like weird green bean plants, and I keep seeing them. They look like giant green beans. I don't know what they are. It's kind of weird. So that concludes the Soviet scavenger hunt. Next time, we're going to explore Ala Archa National Park in the Tian Shan Mountains just outside of Bishkek. If you enjoyed our Bishkek Soviet tour, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to explore more of Kyrgyzstan with me, then hit subscribe and notify so you know when new videos come out. See you next time.